The Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show.
Boss in the Sauce Show. Here we go.
First up right here, we got Cincinnati at Arkansas. This is a pretty big game, y'all. This ain't no joke. This is a let me get my notes back straight. This is AAC versus SEC, the big boys. But Lou Fickell over here at Cincinnati, he's no joke, and he teaches discipline, a lot of great aspects of the game. He comes from a group of Brian Kelly foes and all that stuff. He did lose his defensive coordinator, I believe. Offensive coordinator. He did lose his offensive coordinator to go over to Louisiana with Coach Brian Kelly. So they get a new offensive coordinator at Cincinnati. Biggest loss for Cincinnati right now is Big Ritter's gone. Ritter's gone to the NFL.
Yep.
And many people look at that as it's just a quarterback. But this guy, I believe, was like a 3-year starter. So, they got really used to having him around. He was a very efficient guy. They won a lot of games. And, he moved on. So they go to replace him. They got a QB battle going on with Ben Bryant from EMU and Evan Prater. He's a Ohio native right there. They used to call him Mr. Football in 2019 over there in Ohio. So he's also could be one of the guys to step up. Now, on the offensive line, it's amazing. They got 5 returners right there. Last year, they went for 173 on the ground rushing. So, they already tuned in. So any improvements is definitely a plus for the offensive line. So they're looking good there. At running back, they have lots of talent and depth. LSU transfer Corey Kiner. What was that? They did a trade. Y'all take our offensive coordinator and we get y'all running back. But they get that guy over from LSU. At the wide receiver spot, a lot of talent. At tight end, a lot of speed, a lot of depth. So, they're booming. They returned 7 on offense, looking great on offense. Not so much on defense. Defense got depleted a lot to the NFL. They only returned 4 on defense. The 3-down group expected to be talented and solid. That's why they took the biggest hit of their defensive lineman in that front that left. So these 3 downmen that they replaced them with, they expect them guys to do well. So we'll see how that goes. And this goes back to something I talk about on some of our other shows about coaching. This guy's in his 6th year. These guys, same thing we talked about Kirby Smarts. These guys are got to show the proof is in the pudding right now. They got to show that they're bred from within, not a whole bunch of transfer portals. But if you lose great athletes, it's because you breed great athletes. And here comes some more. So they're looking decent in that area. At linebacker, they have a Ohio transfer to play with his brother over there. So they're going to have a duo over there, Ivan Pace and Deshaun Pace, his brothers. That's pretty tight at linebacker when you can communicate well to cover the middle of the field. And then in the secondary, they lost their top 3, but this new group is led by a couple seniors. And once again, we're looking for that consistent depth of fresh players to come in and perform right there. That's my bid on Cincinnati. I ain't going to tell you my pick yet, but I'm gonna turn it over to Big Ragu, let him give you the rest of the story.
Yeah, so you talk about Cincinnati's NFL talent. A lot of guys on the line. Both lines on this team is loaded. I mean, they showed up. Excuse me, they showed up they're the first non-Power 5 team to make it into the college football playoff. Group of 5 team to get there. So, and I think they deserved it. I think they played their asses off last season. They're well coached, like you said. Fickell's a hell of a recruiter. Like you said, he got the kid, the quarterback, the best player in Ohio in 2019. So he knows how to coach. He knows how to prep. He kind of reminds me of your guy. When he was at Notre Dame. He's that same MO, same bloodline. Same style of coaching. Preparation, and they were real deep. So, with those losses going forward for Cincinnati, I don't think they're going to drop off too much. I mean, they do have some, award-winning talent that did depart, but I think they'll be okay in a lot of areas. So, and they are picked to win the AAC this year again. Excuse me. So they'll be ready to go. They'll be ready to go. The question is that the quarterback, the Ben Bryant transfer or the recruit, one of those two guys is definitely going to be starting. But I don't know who as of this moment. I haven't heard. But either way, they're going to be facing the Hogs, the Arkansas Razorbacks, and this team is ready to rock and roll. They're a next up team. There's a lot of hype around this team. They started. I think they're starting like ranked in the top teens. 15, 16, 17-ish area. So they're highly touted team right now in the SEC. They're not Georgia, Alabama, but they're just sitting right underneath them in the West side. So they're sitting like right beneath Alabama. A&M. You got Alabama, A&M, and then these guys are sitting lurking in the bushes. And Sam Pittman, I think they're going to have a lot to play for this season, and this is a big game. This game right here is going to set the season for both of these teams going forward, because if any of them have aspirations, if Cincinnati has a shot to even get back to the playoff, they're going to have to beat Arkansas right out the gate. And then Arkansas is talking a big game that, hey, we belong. If you don't beat Cincinnati, guess what? You're going to take a big drop from week one. Not that Cincinnati's a bad team, like I said, they're a playoff team, but just going forward, it's a big game for both of these guys. So they're very, very focused coming in. And, right now we're looking at the number, if I remember correctly, let me see. Early on, we're looking at a 7 and a 52, So, you're looking at a touchdown. And I believe this game is in Cincinnati, correct? This game is on the road for Arkansas?
This game is in Arkansas.
Oh, it is in Arkansas. Okay. I was going to say that's a big number for them to lay on the road. All right, so they will be playing in Arkansas, so that's good for them. But, KJ Jefferson is the main guy. He's probably going to be the best player on the field. Whether they need all his talents to utilize them to cover the number, that remains to be seen. But I think we're going to see a lower type scoring game here. I really do. I think because Arkansas, they're really good on third down last year. It's a team that kind of plays in the trenches, also kind of like Cincinnati. But they have an explosive player on offense, and they've got some pretty talented receivers to go with that. So I think I don't think Cincinnati is going to step off too far down from last year on the defensive side. I think they'll still be very viable. I mean, we've seen what happened when they stepped up in class against Bama in the playoff game. So it was kind of like it was a big jump there. So I think maybe playing a little lower talented team than, let's say, Bama. Going in from the first one out. I think they took that game and used that for preparation for this team here. And I think Cincinnati will keep it close early. And then Arkansas kind of pulls away late with Jefferson making some big plays. And, I wouldn't want to lay more than 2 scores, but if I can get like under 7 or less, I'd heavily lean towards Arkansas. And I definitely like the under here.
Absolutely. I listened to the press conference for a little while on both of them. Fickle talks about preparation, keeping the team preparation to going into this game at every level. He also talks about how much depth they have, and he also talks about the Arkansas quarterback, KJ Jefferson. He said this guy will run you over. So you got not only got to watch the pass and the run, but if he gets loose, he will run you over. And he also talks about he's observing at this game, so he can see with this group what us looks like. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then he also went further to speak a little bit on Sam Pittman, and both of them are coaches out of the trenches. It's going to be a very physical fight in the trenches between these two. So I agree with your under, but too big of a line for me not to take Cincinnati. They're really quality teams. I find myself taking quality teams plus points a lot. Sometimes it could be a catch-22 because there's always a reason behind, the number. So I'm going to take a chance in week 1 because that's a position where you can take chances. And like you said, this game is going to predict a lot what goes on with each of them season. If Cincinnati loses this game, they may be able to forget about going back to the playoffs. Yet, if they win this game, then they and win out the season, they look way more best to be a team in the playoffs. Yeah. I didn't want to say gooder. They look way better to be a team in the playoffs.
Yeah,
if they overcome this
coming up. Yeah, they take care of business the rest of the way. Definitely, they not looking at the schedule right now, but I mean that's definitely going to set the pace for the rest of the season for them. Whether they can rebound, you always see the bigger teams. See, they don't have Cincinnati doesn't have the luxury of being in the SEC, playing in the SEC obviously because they're not. But like a team like Georgia, Bama, they always take that early loss and somehow or another they always make it back in. Cincinnati doesn't have that luxury.
Yeah, but lock those in for us. Put me down for Cincinnati plus the 6, and we got you in at the under.
Yeah, I'm going to make my under play official.
All right, Big Ragu at the under. And I got
52, but I don't know what it currently is, so I'm still going to roll with it. But for show purposes, it's 52.
52. There it is there. Shout out to our chat, man. We got more of the family showing up. I appreciate you guys up here. Moose, Money in the house. Ron Crawford in the house. And our man Nasty Nate is in the house, my guy. Salute.